All right, so what is flourishing exactly? Flourishing means thriving. It means abundant life. It means you have reached the peak of your potential, right? Whatever are the best traits that a person can have, um, and applied to you as an individual, you've achieved those traits, right? You excel in virtue, in excellence. You are living an excellent life, to use the terms that Aristotle might have described it. Aristotle was famous for talking about how everyone is always trying to get to this, place he called the good life, right? And you are here because you understand that the good life is not something you just get. It's something you build and create, right? It takes a lot of hard work to build a good life. And it's a lot easier to do it when you have a guide, someone like me, someone, you might have other people in your family who are positive role models and who have taught you certain skills. You might have friends that have supported you when others tried to tear you down. And each of these people is offering a different, aspect of what it takes to help to push you towards your full potential. So, this is the last section of the curriculum. How do you know when you are there, when you've achieved flourishing? Well, A, you have already built a well-being of well-being. You've already built a foundation of well-being. That's number one. You can take the well-being assessments. We have two of them. One that you can use it to pinpoint how you feel, which is a subjective, analysis or an assessment, because I feel like I'm valued here, right? And so that's a good way to tell that there's probably nutrient-rich content around you in the environment, and that would include diversity of individuals, right? You're in a place where people are allowed to be themselves, and that's why you consequently feel valued. So another assessment that we have that you could take is the environmental well-being assessment. And that's designed to show you objectively, do you look around and use your senses and perceptions and notice that there are lots of people being different from each other and still accepting one another as equally valuable. They're all, sharing their real selves. Everybody has different hair colors and different outfit styles, and they don't all shop at LL Bean. Okay, that's a really good example. If you're from New England, you know what I'm talking about. So well-being is number one. You've built a foundation of well-being. Number two, you are experiencing self-actualization. For me, that means Shawn is doing a job that he finds meaningful. In this case, it would be helping to facilitate learning for others about life management. Making art with people's lives, right? Using my creative power to help people to reach their full potential. And for me, that might also include being creative in my dress, or my, I might make artwork, or I might make any other kind of hobby, right? I like to do things that are creative. And when people ask me things, I tell them the truth. I'm honest. I don't deny who I am. I don't block it. I'm not ashamed of it. I just let it flow to the world. Me and the world are constantly in this dance together, and sometimes it's hurtful and sometimes it's good, but it's all good to me, right? Because I am fully confident that I can handle it. And I feel connected and at one. So that's self-actualization. Um, Another piece of flourishing, so you've got well-being, self-actualization, creative production. You can tell people are flourishing because they suddenly start using their energy to invest in themselves and to be expressive in the world through creative endeavors. Like they do sculpting, they play music, they make jewelry, right? I mentioned that they do something artistic because The reason you can tell that's a higher level need, that's what Abraham Maslow used to call a being need. Once you've gotten all your deficiency needs met, right, things that you can't live without, like safety and security and food and shelter and stuff, then you can get needs met that are about just being in the world. Like, I want to be myself. I want to be creative. I want to, go out and do stuff and have a spirit of adventure, right? So, well-being, self-actualization, creative production, add to that flow states. That is an experience of time slowing down. It's like being in slow motion. Everything's just relaxing and good to go. But at the same time, flow is like every time is just flying by, right? You feel really calm and good and everything's happy, and as far as your work and your activities go. But you look at your clock and you're like, it's been 8 hours already? Holy cow, I can't even believe that. And that's because you're good at what you're doing and you enjoy it, right? You're not experiencing anxiety because you're not lacking the skills that you need to meet that challenge, right? Often anxiety can arise because we feel that we don't have the skills to match the challenge. And so having life management skills will allow you to have that confidence that you can meet any challenge, because life management is just that. It's skills to help you manage anything and everything that can happen in life, right? And next would be meaning. I mentioned that you have a meaningful job, right? Meaningful social activities. It's not just doing things, right? That no more of this, I'm going to Thanksgiving at my uncle's house because somebody tells me I have to, or because I feel like I ought to, even though I hate being there, and I don't even like that guy, and he treats me poorly, and everyone else hates being there. And it's a holiday. We're supposed to be celebrating together, not being in misery, not being pretend. So meaningfulness has to do with a match between what I actually want and what I'm actually doing about it, right? It's a match. And I'm happy with my life the way it is, right? That's meaningful. And so well-being, self-actualization, creative production, flow, and positive relationships. I have social connections, right? Or at least, maybe there's not a lot of people where you live, at least you're open to the possibility of connecting with others. Hi, how are you? I'm Shawn. I like this. I like that. How about you? What do you like? I'm interested in getting to know you and accepting you for who you are and not trying to impose myself onto you, right? And you're not going to impose yourself onto me. It's okay for us to be different. That kind of positive relationship, relationships based on mutuality of respect and dignity, where people want to promote the well-being and life success of one another, and they help each other to do that, right? You help me to make it, and I'm going to help you to make it together. And so, consequently, when you are situated in a well, condition, a well environment, it's a healthy environment, a healthy circumstances, you're healthy inside and you're healthy on the outside, then, and you're relating well, you're going to experience, guess what? Positive emotions. You're going to experience joy. You're going to experience contentment and tranquility. And that's because you're not clouded with any drugs and alcohol. It's okay to go out and party once in a while, but it's not okay to numb out your feelings, because your feelings are like a weatherman that picks up on the weather. It's like the Doppler radar system we have here in Maine. It can tell what the weather is like around in your circumstances. And you need to stay tuned in, or else you're going to risk getting caught in a storm, okay? So you need to keep your emotional self clear and open so that you can pick up whether the flavor is bitter and I want to spit it out and change things, or if it tastes good. This is a delicious experience, right? And I'm going to stay in a circumstance like that. Finally, I'm going to be noticing that I'm having fun and enjoyment. The whole point of all of this hard work is you get to a place where you can blast off into life that is fun and enjoyable, right? You've done the work, you've met your needs, Now it's playtime. Let's have some fun, and then continue to work towards maintaining the positive experiences and the positive circumstances from which those positive experiences can arise. But you should be having a good time. If once you get the bad guys out of your life, then you find that you're still not having a good time, chances are it's because you have not left them mentally and been willing to let go of that bad experience and move on to a life that is not so burdensome, a life that doesn't so closely resemble hell, right? You got to be willing to let go of the dying corpse that is the past and embrace what's happening right now that you've worked hard to build, and remind yourself that I'm a good person and I deserve to have good things, and good things happen to good people. No need to self-destruct. No need for me to create turmoil and chaos. It's okay for me to feel uncomfortable with happiness if that's what it comes right down to, in order for me to accept it eventually, right? Just let happiness in just a little bit, more and more and more and more. If you're a person that's been used to living in chaos, um, so you can experience flourishing and the joys of a flourishing life. Thanks.